What's up guys and girls of YouTube, thank you for coming to have a look at my tips and tricks for rated battlegrounds. By no means do I claim to be the best RBG player in the world. I've only hit 1900s in RBGs, but I'm going to share with you what I have learned whilst playing with some of the best players. The first battleground we will be going over will be the famous Warsong Gulch. Warsong Gulch is a 10 vs 10 battle of capture the flag. The team who captures 3 flags first wins, or the team who is last to cap on whilst a drawing result will be rewarded with the victory. Before we begin the tips and tricks, let's quickly take a look at the available power-ups in Warsong Gulch. There are 3 types of power-ups to be found in Warsong Gulch. To use them, all you have to do is simply walk over the top of them and it will affect your character. The first is called Berserking. It increases all damage by 30%, but it also increases damage taken by 10%. It will also increase your size by 10%, which it lasts for a minute. The Restoration buff restores 10% of your health and mana every second for 10 seconds. That's 100% mana and health. Attacking or being attacked will cancel the effect of the restoration. The speed buff increases your movement speed by 100% for 10 seconds. Okay, so now we know about the power-ups. Let's get into maximizing and using them to your best abilities. You want your best damage player in your team to quickly get the Berserking to drop the enemy players on the opposing team. This will give your team the advantage of the first battle, which is best known as the mid-fight. Any advantage you will gain will greatly increase your chance of winning the mid-fight and helping your team to ensure its victory. The Restoration buff is an amazing advantage when your healers are in constant battle and can't get time to sneak off for a quick drink. Your healers should coordinate which one of them is going to get the Restoration buff first. Another good thing to keep in mind is that if you're running with a Boomkin or a Feral Druid, ask them to quickly innovate you. Since they won't be needing that mana regen, it's good to keep that spell handy, and if you need mana and you're not sure if they have the cooldown up, just simply ask them, say, hey, how long till your innovate's up? Would you mind casting it on Julio? And if it's not up yet, how long until it's up? The speed buff is not really that important. Since it's in the tunnel, mostly your flag carriers will be using it to hasten their return across the map to join the battle in the middle. Never leave your FC alone to go and grab the flag. Nowadays, it's so simple to get bursted down from cooldowns that if your flag carrier goes alone, he's most likely going to end up in the graveyard complaining about the damage he took, and that's going to demoralize your team. No one needs to hear that, so assign a healer to aid him to collect the flag. So the doors have opened, you've assigned your top damage player to grab the Berserking buff, and you're fighting in the mid-battle. The first fight can be the break it or take it. As for motivation, if you get absolutely annihilated, then your team's going to be very demoralized and feel like it's already over, when in reality, the battle has only just begun. I can count the amount of times in our old RBG group, we got globaled in mid, but we ended up pulling off the win just by outplaying the other team. In saying this, if you can win the team fight middle, don't let arrogance be your downfall. How hard your spells hit or how quickly you drop the healer on the enemy team, keep the communication clear guys. Listen to your target caller and strat caller for instructions on where your team will be moving. Either you're forcing them into the graveyard or assisting your flag carrier in a full group escort, or maybe you're even defending your own team while being camped in your own graveyard. Getting the first cap in Warsong Gulch is one of the most important part of the game. It boosts your team morale, and after battling that first fight in middle, you should have an important understanding of how strong or weak the other team will be. Do they dispel crowd control? Were they all on the same targets? And etc. When fighting the battle, always try to call out what you see. For example, you see a hunter mounting up to the side and is going into the Berserker hut. Call it out, let your team know. The same goes for your crowd control abilities, also known as CC. When I'm going to polymorph a healer, I simply say, I'm polymorphing their Resto Shaman, or their name. Or, for example, I'm going to cast Ring of Frost on all of their healers. The same goes for sitting in CC. If I could count the amount of times I've heard, dispel me, dispel me, dispel me. Unless I've been playing with you for a really long time, I don't know who me is. Help your team out by saying your name. And if it's the healer, then you could even chuck in, dispel Julio, the Resto Shaman. Communication is the most important thing for your team. Knowledge is power, so use that power to your advantage and it will help you defeat your enemies. So you've done it. You've got your first cap, but you barely got it. What's the best strat to go about keeping that cap to your advantage? I'm going to go over to some of the strats we used whilst playing in the 1900 bracket. The first strat I absolutely love is what I like to call the 300 "This is Sparta" strat. To have this work, your whole team groups up and moves through your tunnel, whether at horde or alliance. You take that one entry point to your roof and you have your FC sit out of line of sight of the door entrance and have your entire group gather up at the entrance while the FC uses his position on the roof to look onto the field to call what's coming your way and what's heading up that tunnel. If you have a hunter, you should put a flare on the door so no invisible players can make their way up to the roof and bomb onto your FC. If you don't have a hunter, you can simply spam AoE on the door. Take it in turns though, don't have your whole team spamming AoE. I mean, the last thing you want is a Zerg to come in and all of your DPS are from spamming on the door. Personally, I've turtled a match this way from the 14-minute mark with our FC getting up to 10 stacks of increased damage, and we still win the game. Just keep your cool guys, listen to your TC and your FC, and enjoy watching those poor players struggle to get up there and try to attack your flag carrier. The next strat I like is called "Where the hell is the flag" strat. This works best for alliance players, but can also be used if you're horde and you're feeling a little bit risky. Personally, I prefer the 300 strat over this, but I've seen it work, and it's a pain in the ass. So, what is the strat? All you do for this strat is you get your FC to go up onto the second level of the alliance base, head towards the roof above the tunnel. You drop down to the first level or part of the roof, and you sit your ass right in that corner, as it's the only spot that's completely line of sight. Sitting there is risky, as your whole team needs to stack on top of you, and you also need to have a druid with Typhoon, an elemental shaman, or a hunter with knockback to quickly drop any enemy player who might drop into your team. If a player in your team doesn't stack, it's very simple for a rogue to quickly shadow step to him and cause some nasty damage. Last but not least guys, I want to go over some common slang that is used in RPGs that you might not even understand what it is. The first thing, FR. That abbreviates to the flag room. FC. That abbreviates to the flag carrier. EFC. The enemy flag carrier. INC is incoming. GY is the graveyard. Roof is the area above your flag cap, the top level. Tun refers to the tunnel leading out of the base. Ramp refers to that sloping terrain on the other side of the graveyard. Simply, it's near the berserking height. That's the ramp. So that's pretty much it for this Warsong Gulch guide, guys. I hope this guide will help you in any way to achieve a greater rating in RPGs. If you found this video helpful in any way whatsoever, feel free to hit that like button, and if you're not subscribed, please feel free to subscribe for more strats. I'm going to be going over all the battlegrounds that I can to try and help you guys in patch 5.4 achieve a higher rating. Thanks a lot guys for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed. As always, Julio out.